Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Friday, March 3rd. And we got ourselves a 5-game slate here tonight where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays. And then we'll wrap up today's video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 2 of those games are coming in with an implied total of 6.5 goals. 3 games coming in at 6 goals even. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see each team who's favored to win tonight. And then here's a schedule update to close out this week. Obviously a video here today, but nothing for this weekend. I will, however, be back at it on Monday, breaking down that Nhl Dfs slate. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that first line for the Columbus Blue Jackets. We got Jenner centering Gaudreau and Marchenko. I like the matchup at home here tonight against the Seattle Kraken, who are not only playing on back-to-back nights on the road after giving up 4 goals to the Detroit Red Wings last night. This is a team that struggled defensively in general since the All-Star break, having allowed 3.67 goals per game. And while their penalty kill has been very good since the All-Star break, they've generally struggled on the penalty kill this season, hitting at just a 73.9% rate. That is the 4th worst in the NHL, and all 3 of these guys here up on that first line for the Blue Jackets also play up on the #1 power play, so I love the correlation here. And then a cheaper line stack I like here tonight is that first line for the Anaheim Ducks. Now, if you go look online right now, it's probably going to show you that Troy Terry is down on the second line. That's how they started last game, but halfway through the game, they put Terry up on the first line with Zegras and Strome. And I love the correlation here between these 3 because they also play up on the #1 power play, and they got a good matchup at home here against the Montreal Canadiens, who are also playing on back-to-back nights on the road after losing 3-2 last night to the LA Kings. And again, this is a team that struggled defensively this year, having allowed 3.57 goals per game, the 7th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 74.5% rate. That is the 6th worst in the NHL. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget, I am running that Discord channel too. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. We got a great group of people that we have in there talking some hockey and talking some prize picks too. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First 2 guys that I got here are Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman of the Edmonton Oilers. You know, I've highlighted Zach Hyman a lot this year, and my theory with that is he plays with McDavid and or Draisaitl 5-on-5 for the most part, also plays up on the #1 power play, but he's the cheapest of the big 3 on that Oilers team. But McDavid, and I know I've mentioned this in the past as well, I probably don't need to highlight him. We all know he's the best player in the NHL and needs to be considered every single night. But this dude, he's out of this world most nights, but what he's doing right now is absolutely ridiculous. He's put up 2+ goals in 5 straight games. If he actually does that here tonight, he ties the NHL record for most consecutive games with 2+ goals. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks that. Let's just take a look at his numbers here over the past 10. He's racked up 11 goals, 13 assists, 24 points, averaging around 6 shots on net per game. Hyman's got 11 points himself, playing good hockey, but like I said, McDavid is just out of this world. So I like stacking those guys together. You can mix in someone on that #1 power play if you wanted to. It's just really tough to put those 2 together with Leon Draisaitl. Believe me, I already tried it here today, and it is doable. It just does not give you a lot of money to work with throughout the rest of your lineup. So again, I like doing a little 2-man stack with McDavid and Hyman. I then got Andrei Svechnikov there of the Carolina Hurricanes, who are sitting in a good matchup tonight on the road against the Arizona Coyotes, a team that we've been picking on all year long, one that's allowed 3.49 goals per game this season, the 9th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 75% rate, and that team is not afraid to take penalties, haven't taken the 4th most minor penalties in the NHL this season. Svech plays up on the first line, plays on the #1 power play, been solid here as of late with 2 goals, 10 assists, 12 points in his past 10 games. Plus, the Arizona Coyotes actually beat this Hurricanes team 4-0 earlier in the season, so you can bet the Hurricanes are going to show up to play better hockey here tonight. I then got Jared McCann there of the Seattle Kraken, and I kind of like targeting this game in general tonight between the Blue Jackets and the Kraken. Obviously highlighted that first line for the Blue Jackets earlier. McCann plays on the first line in number 1 power play himself. You know, the Blue Jackets have been a team we've picked on all year long, a team that's allowed 3.67 goals per game, the 3rd most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 77% rate. And McCann's turned it on here as of late with 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points in his past 10 games. And then another game I don't mind targeting in general here tonight is that game between the Canadiens and Ducks, 2 bad defensive teams to where we could see a high-scoring game. Josh Anderson here at $4,200 stuck out to me on that second line in number 1 power play. He's played some really solid hockey here as of late, having racked up 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points in his past 11 games. He's got 37 shots on net during that stretch as well. And again, this Anaheim Ducks team is one we've picked on all year long, one that's allowed a league-high 4.06 goals per game, with the penalty kill that's hit at just a 73% rate. And this Ducks team is not afraid to take penalties either, having taken the 2nd most minor penalties in the NHL this season. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and I'm not necessarily in love with the top-tier defensemen on this slate. We do have Dougie Hamilton and Josh Morrissey to choose from, 2 guys who have had excellent seasons. I wouldn't blame you if you put them in your DraftKings lineups. I just don't foresee myself going there. I would pay up for Brent Burns of the Carolina Hurricanes, especially if we get word that he's up on the number 1 power play again, but he has been playing down on the 2nd power play as of late. Brady Shea's been the guy up on the number 1 power play, hence the reason I have him here on the spreadsheet. But with Shane Gostisbehere here, obviously he just got traded from the Arizona Coyotes to the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes played the Arizona Coyotes tonight in Arizona, so Ghost likely didn't have to leave the state. He probably just remained at home and waited for the Hurricanes to get into town. I have not gotten official word if he's going to play here tonight, but I suspect that he will. Got the narrative there, playing against his former team. Hurricanes should dominate puck possession in this game, have a lot of shots on net. So yes, I do like Ghost there. Really like Mike Matheson here, the Montreal Canadiens as well. Stacking him up with guys like Josh Anderson or any of those forwards on the number 1 power play. Again, really targeting that Ducks penalty kill, which we've done all year long. And then I ended up just going with 1 goaltender here on the spreadsheet today. John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks is my favorite overall play, especially at this price here, $7,200. He's truly been a boom-bust type of goalie this season, but has crazy upside. And he's kind of found a mini hot streak here over his last 4 games, racking up 19.7, 26.7, 30.7, and 37.7 DraftKings points, just smashing value at his price tag. But overall, the goalie position tonight is far from my favorite, kind of a crapshoot. You could pay up for someone like Gonti Ranta or Freddie Anderson of the Carolina Hurricanes, kind of going with the safe goalie play, but the Arizona Coyotes don't put up a lot of volume when it comes to shots on net. These other games here, I could go either way. So yeah, John Gibson, my favorite overall play. But when it comes to goalies tonight, I'm going to build my lineup and then figure out what goalie makes sense from there. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. I'm not really in love with the 2 to 3K forward plays here tonight. I think most of the value is in the 4 to 5K range. But I got 3 guys here who I think are viable. First, Nino Niederreiter of the Winnipeg Jets, playing with his new team. He's already up on the 2nd line in number 1 power play. He's a net front guy who can definitely find the back of the net. He's got 15 goals in 55 games this year. Next is Kent Johnson of the Columbus Blue Jackets, plays on the 2nd line in number 2 power play. He's shown some real boom-bust upside this year, someone who can go for 20, 25 plus DraftKings points. He's got 13 goals, 16 assists, 29 points in 58 games, about a half point per game type of player. And then Michael Amadio there of the Vegas Golden Knights, currently playing on the 2nd line but up on the number 1 power play. He's got 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points here in his past 10 games. This is definitely an opportunity play considering the price at $2,800, being that he's on the 2nd line and number 1 power play. And then to wrap up this video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. Had ourselves another good night last night, ended up going 3-0 and sweeping the board. That puts us at 8-1 on our picks here over the last 3 days. Gonna look to close out Friday here on a good note as well. But if you have not signed up for prize picks yet and you want to get in on this action, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and Prizepicks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now, you do not have to put $100 in either. If you want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they will match that $20. Again, they will match anything up to $100 as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. But for those of you who are already on Prizepicks, you know my plan of attack here. Go through these picks individually, do my research, and then let you know my final picks in a comment below on this video, and I'll be sure to pin that comment as well. And don't forget, I am posting those picks in my Discord channel too, and if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 5-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.